Alrighty, hey again everyone. We're back yet again with some more hardcore Minecraft. Yesterday we went ahead and finished making a giant ass map and finished putting in a bunch of glass. Today we're finally, actually, but for real this time, gonna work on making that forest a lot larger, because I really need to. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be focusing on. We can see we've got our map. Wow, my game does not like that when I'm also trying to load in all of the nearby chunks too. But yeah, big map. Here's our base from above with all of our mountain range, our forest that we got to expand, and all the surrounding land, which is pretty cool. And also eventually the shulker farm up in this area somewhere. Couldn't tell you where though. Probably like right where that one is, which is a bit annoying. But I'm sure it'll be fine. So let's not worry about it. For right now, what we're gonna go ahead and do is maybe go get some of this other stuff put away. We'll pop right on down real quick. Thought I was gonna miss that, not gonna lie. But we have really started to get our base shaped up here pretty well, so we've still got a lot of work to do in the actual storage room and clearing out this room as a whole too in the near future, but we have gotten most of our base work done. We just need to get a couple of other things put away, like this red carpet. And let's see here. We'll just yank that away. Don't have to worry too much about that. And eventually we need to start installing subfloors and all that kind of stuff along here. And we need more chests and we need more item frames. So a whole bunch of crap we're gonna need to get a hold of at some point. Also, I'm gonna need to put all of these away too, but yeah, we'll get to that at some point. And I don't have any more item frames. Okay. Probably used them all up on. What would I have used them on? I don't really know. Anyways, that's not what we're really here for. Um, we should put the dragon egg on like a block up at our base or something. I think that would be a good idea too. But let's not worry about that for right now. We mainly need more item frames at some point, and we really just need to like get a couple of extra materials. And I think we're gonna get probably we'll use some birch wood because we got a bunch of it. So we'll take some birch wood with us and kind of we'll make like a little barrel board like what we had before where we can store a bunch of the different woods that are going to be growing. No barrels, okay. I guess we can make a ton of them. I sworn I had more somewhere, but maybe not. Alright, let's see here. How do I make barrels again? 2 slabs and 6 planks, so it's mainly like that. And then we make some barrels. See, that didn't really make a whole lot. That's better. And we'll make more. Yeah, it should be enough for right now. Cool. We're gonna take the rest of this with us as we do our work. But, you know, it'll be fine. Additionally, all of this should be off as well too, so yeah, the clock's off and the trapdoors are down, so these are okay. Cool. I'll have to figure out how we can toggle this a little bit more effectively. I think that means it's powered. In fact, we can check this real quick too with some of our existing ones. Like if I were to pop over here real quick and borrow this just for a moment. So if it's powered, then the trapdoors are down. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So yeah, we could run a second lever or a second set of redstone that goes through and connects all that. And frankly, we probably want to redo the redstone that connects a lot of this stuff. I mean, it was a stopgap just to see if it would even work, and it kind of does, but we need to do a little better. But that's not what we're doing today. We're actually working on expanding out that stupid ass tree farm. It's not like it's a stupid tree farm, but it's a lot, that's for sure. And I think we want some storage about here, I would say. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we are gonna, first of all, this guy's gotta go. Surprised I didn't even kill him outright, that's annoying. First of all, get some birch logs. But we're gonna put them back a little bit because we're gonna probably want some spots to do a couple of things. I'd space these out kind of smart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got our center bit, so we can have like a couple of nice sections of this stuff. And let's see here, we'll have this kind of moved out of the way too in the near future. Okay, I have naturally left all of my scaffolding somewhere else because of course I did, but that's alright. We can instead just use ladders or something and some slabs. So make a couple of slabs, make a couple of ladders, trim all this stuff out. Something like that. And I think we can do it again here as well. We'll probably cut back like that portion of the forest a little bit more, but this should give us plenty of space to try and put everything down at. Or at least a better. And you know what, fuck it, just for the sake of being consistent, I'm gonna do one more layer, put that there. And we're gonna chop this down, we're just gonna stack it on top. I think that'll be a better idea. And that's the fun part about doing this stuff, it's iterative. I think it's gonna be too long if we do it out this way, and then it causes issues because this wasn't really meant to have any more than just the one ladder. So let's see here. Start with a little something like that. Here we go. We'll do a little something like that. And let's see here, we'll get another stack of logs. We can probably use stairs instead of slabs, I think that's what we'll do. Oh, I knew I had these item frames somewhere. It's like I know I have extra just sitting around somewhere, but I just could not think of where it was that led me there. Well, there we go. Should also put an infinite water source kind of up here at some point. It feels like that'd be a good idea. And yeah, we'll do that right now. There we go. And additionally, we're gonna want some torches here too. So let's go back to, not torches, we're gonna want some lanterns. Let's go back to our base real quick. I feel like I put lanterns in one of the shulker boxes that are just sitting down in my old storage area. Let's go ahead and take a pop down real quick and see if we can get to them. I feel like they would have been in one of these. This is all nethery related things. We should build a potion room too, you know, we haven't thought about that in like ages. But that's right, I wanted to sort all this stuff too. And I did have lanterns, that's good. We still need to sort all this away down the line. But it's annoying, so I don't really care. So that's fine. We'll take the empty box though, and we'll kind of some of that down bit by bit. Alright, and I guess we are taking a spare bundle after all. That'll help a little bit. And we'll pop back up to the bedroom, because we can do that. And we'll pop right on up and in. There we go. And the cool thing about having the base this high up is it's a great jump off point for our elytra, and then also going this high up resets all the different mob spawns, so when we go back down to our forest, even though it's nighttime, it won't matter, as nothing can spawn all the way up here, and I lit up everything else down below so hard that there's no risk of anything, other than being a dumbass and crashing with an elytra or something, but, you know, that probably won't happen. I would hope, but we will hopefully never have to deal with that. Anyways, we are gonna hang a good couple of lanterns off of these. I feel like I want the top one to be more elongated, and I also need to take a minute here to install a couple of things. Crafting table and ender chest can be moved over. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's take that, and let's take that, and we're gonna put these spots that make a little bit more sense. So let's just put that there, put that there. Yeah, that should be fine. And otherwise, we got access to that all again. I just realized I had my leftover ladders in that white shulker box, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure it'll be okay. We'll bring this up to here because we can do that. We'll do a little something like that. Make a couple of stairs. Okay, so the 8 most common wood types can go here, and then the remaining ones that we don't give a shit about can go up on the top. And more, when I say remaining things, I more mean things like bee nest, maybe, might be something that we want to keep. Cocoa beans, because we're going to be using that jungle as well. mangrove stuff, just, you know, different things like that. So we'll have something kind of nice here. We'll repurpose these slabs a little bit. I guess otherwise, is there a cool accent block we could maybe use? I guess we could use a strip spruce log, because why not? That just feels weird, because why would that be the only different thing? You know? Yeah, that feels more right. Um, yeah, that's good. Okay. Go back in there. And then for right now, we're just gonna cram all this leftover crap away. And, you know, we'll sort it out later. Probably. It's back with me. I'll put the lanterns back away in there. Need the item frames for right now. That. Yeah, it should be fine. And let's see how we're doing on block light up here. It goes all the way down to 4, but it looks like we do get enough. Yeah, it caps at 4. Okay, that's fine. And then we can go ahead and just have that go all the way down, since we don't need that anymore. And otherwise, we've got a nice little area that we can store and put some stuff away at. We got a little bit of flat space just for general shit happening here. We actually are going to move this around a little bit more. This is too small of a space, I think, to be effective, but over here we got a good bit more that should be fine. So put crafting table there, put an ender chest there, and then that gives us enough space for some empty shulker boxes. And you can kind of see how we're gonna set this stuff up going forward. Yeah, so we got a nice extra little bit of space, not to mention the actual sides and all that too, but you know, if we want to keep this kind of clean and leave it alone, then that's the way to go. And we'll like tuck that there. Cool. Alright, so we are gonna go ahead and I guess actually take one of these with us. And basically we're gonna cut down every single tree that we've grown so far, except for maybe the giant spruce because those ones are pretty easy. And we're gonna try and figure out how the hell we want to grow a lot of this stuff, right? Because I want to have whole large like sections and not just these smaller sections that I've got currently for like different tree types. So like I don't want to have like a big section of like cherry and birch and stuff like that. Like I want to just be able to have one big ass section. That's a whole thing, and then kind of just go on from there. So all we're focusing on for right now is just cutting down all the logs best we can. And then once we are done with that, we will, you know, keep going. We'll pick up whatever saplings drop too. We'll try to go out of our way to get all of those. At least as many as we can. And let's also make sure we get our fortune hoe out as well. And it's gonna be a lot of tree farming. Luckily we don't have to worry about lighting or anything, but it still means we're gonna have to cut down just a crap ton of trees here. hey, with all the wood that we get just from how small our forest is right now, we should be able to build a lot of different houses with all this kind of wood. Except if it involves jungle, mangrove, or acacia, I think is the other one. That's the kind of stuff we don't have a lot of. It's a little bit harder to grow a bunch of it at the moment, so we'll be working to expand those out. But they're ugly wood anyway, except for mangrove. Mangrove is pretty, but God, it is such a pain in the ass to farm. But, you know, could be worth it. Oh, we need to make that mycelium island as well at some point, too. But, you know, we'll get there. I'm pretty sure, like, grass and podzol mycelium doesn't grow underwater either, so having it isolated like that should still be more than okay. So, we'll find out. Good chunk of wood. But I feel like the main 8 that I'm going to care about are going to be dark oak, pale oak, regular oak, spruce, that's 4, birch is 5, what else? I'm trying to think what else I would even care about. My full, no. Cherry, I guess, that's 6. Shit, there's not really a whole bunch more after that, because the nether woods and bamboo are 3 on their own. And those aren't really going to be. Well, we're growing the nether wood, but the bamboo is not going to be a part of this at all, so. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can fit all of them on the bottom shelf, and then the top can just be extra storage if they need it. We'll figure it out. It'll be okay. Alright, so oak, birch, spruce, cherry, dark oak, pale oak. I don't know, put pale oak in here right now. And then I'll do the saplings on the top one, because I can do that. We're gonna try working through the night here just to see how the lighting actually works for us. Or if we ended up missing a couple of spots, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna be okay, so just not to think too hard about it. All this wood cutting is gonna wear down our axe pretty hard though, but we have a backup one in one of our shulkers if we need it, our toolbox in the other chest, and then, you know, we can always just go get this repaired at like the gold at the trading hall if we really want to as well. Should also do more trading stuff again at some point in the near future, but we'll see about that. I want to build a much larger trading hall again that separates them out, but I actually want it to look good. So I've held off on doing anything like that until we can actually farm all the different wood types a lot better. Because now that we can farm all this stuff and it's like in a nice clean area near our base, then we should be able to do a lot more. And let's get all these saplings. Just looking in the direction of our base makes it laggy, I'm pretty sure. It's looking in the direction the item frames, isn't it? That's kind of. I'm sure it's fine. Let's turn on hitboxes too while we're here at night. Makes it a little bit easier to see some of this stuff, and then if we do have any hostile mob spawning. You will know for sure. I mean, it literally looks barren as can be. I mean, we can't even see anything anywhere, so we did a really good job of lighting up everything there. That might happen every now and then, though. I think I just saw something over there. Oh, those were the flowers. That's fine. I think we'll have a larger section down there for jungle trees because it makes more sense to me with like the mangrove stuff, but we'll know for sure soon enough. Are doing good on saplings though. Oh, and I need to remember to harvest the carrot field at some point because we're gonna need to get more carrots for golden carrots. I want to make a whole shulker box of food in the near future. And we need to work on a cactus farm too. I want green dye. I see some things throughout the trees, but looks like it's just pigs and stuff. There's maybe one other thing out in the distance that doesn't look animal shaped, but it could be. Who knows? Either way, we can tank like a creeper explosion point blank with this armor, so we don't really have anything to worry about. I mean, if there's two, then we're in trouble, but that's fine. And again, we're doing this stuff shieldless and totemless, right? So could just be, oh, I just have a shield, but kind of defeats the point. Same deal with having a totem, right? I mean, if you can live for a very long time without them, I don't know, it adds more tension to a lot of things if anything bad does happen. But when you're this far along, most of your stuff is more creatively oriented, so you're not out in the field like doing anything dangerous at that point. So there's not really any risk there either, unfortunately. Alright, well, let's see here. Looks like it's still going strong. And we are doing pretty good on pale oak and on their saplings. That's always good. We'll probably have a separate little area for sticks up on like one of the top shelves too. But thinking of things I could drop from trees that aren't logs and saplings, you got like sticks, you got apples, bee nests technically for the ones I do decide I want to cut down and just hoard somewhere. What else? Cocoa beans, because I'll probably have a spot to farm cocoa beans manually down here for a little bit. Otherwise, I don't really know. Well, either way, we're almost done cutting out the pale oak section, so good. Probably a couple of weird floating logs like that I missed, so we'll have to pull back on ourselves here and see what's happening. I think we've been doing pretty good so far, though. But yeah, like a cluster that thick, there's probably something missing. Find out soon enough, anyways. this feels wrong. There's definitely something missing up here. Oh, I see it. And same deal, we're just gonna pick up whatever we can around here. So, looks like we may not have missed a log, but these dark oak trees are what's preventing it because they're wood too, so. Dang. And maybe there's another log that was missed. We'll let that decay and we'll see what happens. So just that little batch of trees got us half a shulker's worth of wood. Just that little bit. Took half the freaking night to do too. Nice. Dark oak in here right now. That over there. This is a really tall one. Yep, just a random pig. I missed two whole logs up there. Dang. Need to get a little bit of dirt. Back that off. Almost got a stack of sticks. We should probably keep like a shulker of scaffolding in this area too. Just because I can see myself using it to clear out some of these trees and I don't want to keep going back to my base for a bunch. Should also maybe put a shulker of scaffolding back in my ender chest. And frankly, I need to clean out my ender chest again too because it's been a while since I've like done anything with it. So should probably do for some cleaning. Oh, those are bees. They're just little guys. They're cool. We should work on automating our honey farm at some point too. it's already almost 3 o'clock today. Not cool. This weekend has gone by really fast, it feels like. Alright, well, the pale oak's finally all cleared out, and we are making good progress on the rest of the dark oak. Go ahead and get the rest of this dropped off. There we go. Let's do apples. Apples there. Sticks there. Yeah, we'll do something like that. Why not? Go to the big 1000. My second ever world that's made it that far. So that'll be pretty neat when it does happen. Um, I would assume it would. I don't know what the hell would kill me other than like crashing with an elytra in the next like 150 days, but hopefully nothing. Yeah, we've got a good chunk of projects to kind of work our way through. I mean, we don't have to do anything by day 1000 technically. Like, the actual shell of my base looks really good, but like by day 1000, I'd imagine I would like to actually have the inside of my base, like that big flat like grass area where like all that started at. I'd like that to be filled up with some stuff, like some actual nice like city kind of buildings, and I want that whole thing filled up with things. And if we don't fill that up because that's like on the inside and that's kind of like invisible, then that's fine. But like I want there to be at least be extra buildings on the outside and we actually decorate things nicely and all that good stuff. Like it does look really good and it looks impressive and it's got a good chunk of farms in there, but there's still more farms to be made and things like that to do, so there's still more work to be done. There's probably enough farms left to build too that'll probably get me through the next 1000 days as well, just with the amount of stuff that we want to do and the scope that we're trying to do certain things at, but who knows. Eventually we're going to hit a point, I'm worried that all we're going to have left to do is to just build creative builds for the sake of creative building. Because there's also good fun in building things that will get you something as well, like building farms that actually get you things you can use to make other farms, or that you can then use to decorate and build cool things with without having to worry too much about constraints, right? But if all you do is, you know, you've built every farm up to that point possible, and all you can do after that is just creative building, that's where it can get a lot trickier. I mean, that's where it's a great time to like experiment with different building styles and just different ideas in general, but you know, it's still kind of tricky to navigate all that stuff. And it's the real enemy of a hardcore world is boredom after enough time. Eventually you run out of things to do, or you perceive that you run out of things to do that you're actually interested in, and then you have to figure out how do you keep going. And if it's even worth keeping going, you know? But who knows? especially when it's like dying is less and less of a risk as time goes on. Like even just with this world alone, we've got again the only thing that can one shot me right this very second is a super big fall, which ain't gonna happen, and a charge creeper, which again ain't gonna happen. So there's not really any risk of dying like anywhere at all ever. And if there ever was with like a charge creeper, it's because I'm explicitly working with it, and I'll have like the extra set of armor that I want by that point, so that won't even be an issue either. So you know, ooh, and I just thought of something cool. So when we make those other three sets of perfect netherite armor with the different types of protection on them, what I can do for those is I can color code them. So like I can do like a cool trim with redstone or whatever. So that way it's red for fire protection, blue for blast protection because of that alliteration, right? And then yellow could just be projectile protection. And then my main gear is probably going to be white trimmed or netherite trimmed just for like the flex of like netherite trim netherite. But even then, that's not too much of a flex just because, you know, you can go and mine for netherite pretty easy. So it's not difficult, it is time consuming, but you know, I think that'd be a good idea. And maybe we'll do the same thing with like our other tool variants too, where we'll make like a perfect set of netherite swords that have Bana arthropods and smite on them. We've already got that for our axe to some extent too. We've already got that for all of our tools, but we don't really have it for the swords. The bow is already perfect, so we don't have to really worry about the bow at all. Maybe make a shulker box of these bows, but that's kind of it otherwise. Like, there are plenty of things to do if you are looking for them, but in terms of things to collect and kind of goals to achieve for yourself, but it can be difficult thinking of them, you know. I also might want to consider making like little sleeping shacks throughout the world because like just popping down a bed and sleeping is kind of one thing, that's whatever, but I'd like to be able to have like out throughout the world a couple of different spots that I can just sleep real quick and then go back to do what I was doing in the areas that I'm commonly. So like cutting down these trees, I could build like a itty bitty little shack back by my item storage that just has like a bed and like an ender chest or something like that. Or that's probably where I would move the ender chest and crafting table. And then, you know, you got a nice little place to just rest your head and you can keep working. Because nighttime's not even that scary anymore, too, because between the armor and the weapons, and then also the fact that nothing fucking spawns like anywhere near me anymore, because of the amount of lighting I've done, I don't, you know, there's no risk to like anything at all. So it's kind of nuts. Yeah, we're almost done with the dark oak section finally. This section's a lot larger than the pale oak that we had before, so this will probably be one of the first ones we replant. I think for right now today, we're mainly just focusing on cutting down all the trees. Not so much replanting versus just stockpiling all the saplings and then we'll replant once everything's like done and we've used up a good chunk of the wood. I think that'd be fair. Then, and we'll take care of our food problem today too. It's dropping here too. I think too after I enroll, because I got a vacation coming up in September. After that, and after I'm like enrolled in my data science masters, well, I'll probably wait until after my first semester so I can at least like have some baseline level of knowledge on some things. But I'm probably gonna try and look for either a second job or a new job altogether. Maybe not a new one, but I wanna just see what's out there and just keep like interviewing for stuff and just so I can get more practice in with that kind of stuff. And there's like enough finance jobs that do what I do that pay like almost double now from what I do, and they're fully remote, and that I have all the qualifications for, that I'm like I have a real good chance of actually getting. And now with like my remote work experience, and I'll probably hold off on them a while longer, anyways. Is that a chicken? Is that a chicken? That's a chicken. Okay, I was about to say I didn't know what the hell that was. But I'll probably hold off on it anyways for like a while, just because I want more like technical experience from my current job first before I would really feel comfortable looking for another one. 'Cause I really do like working here, but I don't want more money. And I can get a second job, but like while I'm working at my current one, but it has to be outside of work hours, and that's tougher to do and all that kind of good stuff. And unless I had some kind of consulting job where I could work at like odd hours and just make like the odd call to like somebody else here or there to check in with them during work hours, I could get away with that. That would be one thing. But you know, I'd have to figure out how to swing something like that. But now they're asking for experience that I do actually have, and it's in ways that I can tangibly show and that I'm good enough at doing that I could be like, okay, I could actually do something with this. And I don't know. Like one of my end goals in life, or at least for right now, with what I want to do to actually make enough money to do literally anything, is to get like remote jobs and start stacking them. Because like mainly once I'm even better at the technical work that I do, because that's kind of what I'm interested in is like database administration and engineering and things of that nature. Where I want to do something that's more technical like that, because I enjoy doing that kind of work. And even if there's like decision making involved, I'm usually pretty good at that kind of stuff. And being able to talk about what I'm seeing and why I'm doing things the way I'm doing, and explaining that kind of stuff. So it's like simple calls, things of that nature. And with remote jobs, they're remote, so you can you are actually good at your job. That's the key thing. You can have multiple of them, but I'd at least like to just have one, just to really like test the waters and see how it is. I mean, getting a second one would be nice too, just because the extra money that brings in is huge. Like I could pay off like my entire trailer and car and like all my credit card debt in like a single year if I had that kind of setup going. Like that's how much extra money it is. And once you get all that debt paid off, then that's a huge, stress off your back that you don't have to worry about for a long time. And you can just stockpile the rest of the money after that a lot better. So if something does happen, you got a nice nest egg, and it's good stuff all around. And especially since one job nowadays doesn't pay enough to really like my job pays me enough to live and like enjoy like simple like nice things, but if I really want to like have a life or do anything after the fact or like save up for a house or anything, I just cannot do that on my current salary. Like it's enough to get by and it's enough to have like spine food and stuff like that, and I can find these things for myself every once in a while, but you can't really like grow beyond that, you know. Like you really do want to just keep growing and changing over time, just seeing what else is out there. Like even if things are good now, they can always be better, but also vice versa. If things are bad now, they can always be worse and all that kind of deal. But it doesn't hurt to just keep looking, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. But who knows? But the main thing is money. It's always money, unfortunately. Once that figured out, life does get a lot easier. You don't have to worry about it as much, and if something bad happens, you can actually afford it, which is a huge thing too. But either way, looks like we are doing pretty good here. We got all of our dark oak trees cut down finally, so we can move on to. Oh man, Birch is gonna take a long ass time too. I already know it. Shoot. Well, dang. I guess we can cut down some of the nether trees if we want. Yeah, let's go put the rest of this away. Alright, well, we almost got a full shulker box of dark oak wood off of this. That's pretty good. And we'll just put the apples away. We'll keep the sticks for now. I guess we can do oak now since we're already here physically. Also, take this opportunity to get our hoe back out. Because we're basically just going to tear through a bunch of these trees until we get to the wood, and then move on to the next, hopefully. At least these look like they'll be a much quicker cut to actually get to all the wood and get everything cut down. So those dark oak trees did take quite a while. Oh, but then see, we get a couple of these large trees that I'm like, gonna have to burn these down more likely than not. Oh, I guess since I grow enough dense trees, I guess I can just cut this down with my hoe. And then just parkour up to the top of the tree and just keep trimming all this away. I guess actually these aren't too bad. They aren't too bad yet. Yeah, we got another batch of large trees again. Dang it. That's annoying. There we go. And we'll go ahead and run through and pick up whatever else we can. Now, it's technically a little dangerous out here since we didn't light up everything down in that valley. But, again, shouldn't really be too big of an issue. You're just going to be a little aware. Case in point. Oh, come on. Fucking deflected that. That was bullshit. Not cool. Alright, Sandy, let's go pick up whatever else we can, and we'll go load all this away. There we go. Alright, cool. We'll do that. And once we navigate to this next tree. Can't believe we hit that. Alright, we're almost done with the oak section. Just a couple more trees to go. Be everything. I feel like I missed a log somewhere, and that's why these aren't decaying as much, but it could have just been because these were freshly cut down, so. But either way, I feel like I got everything, so I should be fine. Damn, it's been an hour already. Decent little chunk of oak, so not too bad. Got some extra apples out of that too. Can't really complain too much there. Alright, now we've got this one single jungle tree. Oh, we need to make the stairs going up into here at some point. Yeah, we got 3 saplings out of that instead of the 1. That's good. So, oak, birch, spruce, jungle's gonna go there because that's like a more classic-y kind of one. And then we're gonna get cherry in one of these over here because it's got a newer one. Yeah, we'll do that. That should be fine. Acacia's stupid as hell too, so I think just, you know. You really don't get a lot of acacia wood out of these trees either. We didn't even get a stack of wood, that's how bad that was. Damn. Well, luckily I don't plan on building with it, but still. Same idea for mangrove, that stuff's gonna be really annoying to actually get a bunch of. Well, let's go get all this filed away for right now. Acacia there. Start working on the birch. Let's yank that. That thing's completely full. Mainly doing this too just to get a bunch of wood stockpiled and also like get more saplings so we can replant there. But in the future, we're not gonna be like cutting down the entire like whole forest anytime we want to harvest stuff. Just because it's gonna take way, way, way too fucking long and it's gonna be a massive pain in the ass to do 24/7. I mean, this alone has already taken us over an hour. We're not even like done with all the different tree types yet. We haven't even touched the cherry trees. Those are the thick ones too. So there's just a lot of crap to cut down and got a lot of planning to do. something about. Could do it one day, I'm sure. Let's head back and go make sure we get those acacia saplings. We'll go collect one too. Acacia is kind of rare, so not that it's rare, but like it's annoying to go get a bunch of. So try and take advantage of it if it's still there, you know. And case in point, we seem to have Vista log. We'll get to that here in a moment. Extra 9 saplings out of that, it's nice. We'll poke that along a little bit. Here we go. Spent on those dark oak trees too. They do make a lot of wood, but man, they are a lot thicker to actually cut down. We got a lot of them too. But I feel like in the same amount of time as those, we got all of the birch, oak, well, acacia and jungle are kind of cheating, but you know. We're gonna get these smaller spruce trees done too real quick. we have left to do is the cherry wood and the nether wood. That there, spruce wood. Birch. Here we go. Cool. And we'll pop our bed down here. Why not? I haven't slept in a little bit. We don't want to deal with phantoms because they're annoying. They're dumb and stupid, but you know. Alright, we'll save the nether trees for last because I have to carve down all the leaf blocks, quote unquote. It's really the by hand. Or the oak blocks by hand. Now, cherry trees are also really tricky too. First of all, I tried to grow these a little bit too closer together, so that one's on me. Second of all, I basically need to, I think, target these from like their treetops and cut them down that way. Just because these spread out a little bit too hard. So it's basically one giant layer of cherry blossom leaves. And then I can just shave it all away as good as possible. Fairywood's going to be growing in a smaller section because I am not going to do this much again. I don't need this much fairywood, and frankly, I don't really. It's like it's fine. Like I'm sure the paint color works for specific builds, but I don't build a lot of things in pink. And the tree itself is super annoying. Actually, like cut down too. So those logs go freaking everywhere, man. The leaves are really pretty though. They're worth it. You can see just how tall these get. I guess we can follow them through fine enough. Even if they are a little annoying, it's not impossible to follow them. Yeah, I guess it is fine. Okay. think too, we definitely did overdo it on the amount of space that we have available, which is part of the reason why this is so unsustainable. So to help with that, once we cut down everything, we're gonna look and see if there are any good places where we can build some bodies of water, have more like off-limity kind of places, you know, like Zen Garden kind of stuff, right? Where you've got some sand, you've got some nice looking bamboo, maybe you've got some more decorative trees, but they're not meant for being cut down or anything like that. That's kind of a good way to make sure that I don't overplant. I mean, alternatively, we could just not cut down like every single tree, but you know, if I grew them, I want to. Almost done. I guess we can also do the mega spruce trees too, because I do want more spruce wood. Like we're feeling full, so let's go ahead and wrap off of that and keep on going. blocks are together. That's why we were having issues with mob spawning some time ago. I mean, it is just like a thick, solid canopy of leaves that's multiple blocks deep. It is kind of nuts. It's cool though, but gotta have actual lighting for it, otherwise it's unmanageable. And for some of these bushes too, we definitely missed a log or two in these, and they're not worth really going. So we'll probably just get our flint and steel and just set them on fire. Because there is a point where it's just not worth doing all that extra effort just for a couple extra logs, a couple extra saplings, and especially once we have so many of them too from cut down the rest of the trees, you know. Like nearly an hour and a half. Damn it. This cherry, that's a big one. And probably less dark oak and pale oak, or at least in like in a better spot that I don't have to deal with as much because we got a lot of that too, and that takes a lot more time to cut down. You're officially out of space. Cool. Let's go ahead and run all this back again. Our axe was at full durability today, by the way. Now it's down to half. So that's how much we're cutting down here when we're doing all this. It's cool that we're getting so much to some extent, but good lord, man. And we're gonna do a couple of things. So first of all, we're gonna sleep, and we're gonna grab our flint and steel. And here we go. this too here. Perhaps for that we'll do it for the cherry at least. I almost feel like the oak and the cherry should switch places. Because the oak at least is smaller by default because it's closer to the spruce bit, so it kind of has to be smaller. Also, damn, that sticks out really well too. So it kind of has to be smaller by default, which is perfect. And then we want more oak, frankly, through a lot of this stuff. So I think this large top bit's going to be oak and birch. And then I guess mainly this whole thing can be oak. And then dark oak is still fine up here. And then there's cherry around there. Like basically just surrounding this raised bed is going to be a bunch of cherry wood. And the reason that's good too is because, first of all, this can't grow, is because when these do grow up, they're a good couple blocks tall, we can jump from that raised bit of land onto the treetops and actually harvest a bunch of the leaves and stuff by it that way. Should be really useful. So yeah, I think that would work out a little bit better. We'll get these last couple of stragglers and then everything else could just be left to rot. You got more than plenty otherwise. Yeah, we'll go do the nether wood real quick. Right, let's go ahead and get this cherry wood put away. Was almost half a shulker box there. Might also want to carve a path down into here too. kind of see the vision with how we're gonna have a staircase down here. Get all that tossed out. Alright, and then fun part here is figuring out how to be able to cut all this stuff down too. I think it's a matter of tree parkour, because these don't decay naturally on their own, so we do have to by hand trim all this out. Which is fine, I guess, because it's also good as string lights too, so hey, it's okay. That we gotta keep is the nether wart blocks. And this stuff is very cool for building too. I like the color of it quite a lot, so I do want to try to save this first initial chunk of it. I think too when we grow new trees, they'll also overwrite like all of the wart blocks as well with wood and new wart blocks and string lights. So it's not like we have to get rid of them every single time. But you know, this first time around is one thing. Just because it's the first time we're doing this, and have some extra stockpile of these blocks because they're cool. So. Sleep and go run the rest back up to the shulker box. Actually, well, we'll put it in the shulker box, and then we're also going to take all this back with us to the actual storage. All that work too didn't even get us 2 stacks of nether wood, so a little annoying, but we don't use it for that much, so I guess it's okay. At least it's okay for now. But yep, we'll go ahead and take this back. You got a okay amount of shroom lights, only 23, kind of whatever. Beats nothing, so. We're gonna do something like that. Then cocoa beans can go there eventually. Shroom lights are a little bit too important to be left here, so they're gonna come back with me. And we can always expand that out to be taller if we really need to, but I don't want to have to, so. All right. Next batch of stuff here. I don't know if there's a difference between tree types where maybe one of them grows more shroom lights than the other. So that's kind of worth measuring too to see. I feel like they should be about the same just because it would make sense intuitively, but then again, might not be, so who knows. Alright, and all of that effort barely netted us a single stack of crimson. So yeah, quite a lot of work unfortunately, but fine I guess. We're gonna keep all of the nether stuff in its own like section up there, so I think we'll put shroom lights in that area too to some extent, but the fungi are kind of unique because they don't really like exist like that, so they're a little. We should put the vines in there too at some point. last but not least, we've got the... Nah, actually, I'm not doing these. I'm not gonna lie. We have cut down for almost 2 hours straight, just trees. That's all we did. We just cut down a bunch of trees, and we know where that's gonna go anyways. Next time we do stuff. So, point being, Cherry's gonna go around this whole thing. We can leave some of these open a little bit, but we need to probably carve more paths going through some of this stuff. We need to kind of plant accordingly. So, and we need to install more like landscape features like bodies of water. Yeah, okay, sure. Like bodies of water and little zen gardens and flower patches and things of that nature. We need to install just a little bit more to break up some of this land. Some of that stuff can just remain flat though, but we need to kind of take away some space in a tasteful way because we've kind of overdone it a bit here. That's okay. We got a very nice and cool amount of stuff here now, which is neat. I mean, we should be good on a decent chunk of wood for a while here. There's a couple obviously that we're behind on, but can't do a whole lot about that. But I mean, just heading out to here, for example. Just heading out to here. Let's see about those carrots, am I right? We even have a whole lot in here. We got a good chunk. Let's go see if we can get a couple more carrots to fill out that whole thing. And then we will do a little bit more after that. Barrel with as much stuff as we can, and then we will figure it out from there. Alright, nice. Take an extra stack, and then the remaining bits here can be used for planting. So we're gonna make a shulker box of golden carrots and dye it yellow, and then we're gonna put it in our ender chest in one of our main boxes. There we go. Alright. Do a couple more. What might be worth doing too as well, and it kind of depends on the village houses that we build in here, but it could be worth having a couple of farmers just here just for farming. We could see if we can get them to handle replanting and try and get them to consolidate all their resources in one spot for shits and giggles. So we can have just some kind of like crop auto farm happening. Especially if it's integrated well with the landscape like we have here, or ideally like we'll have here. So that could be cool. Makes this area feel more alive, you know. At least that's the goal. Alright. Taking this whole thing back with us. This can get moved down a peg. There we go. Also, have just a little bit extra lighting would go a long way. Especially if we mix it in here, because we have a pretty big dark spot there. Went great on iron. Alright, I don't know how we want to physically do this. Let's just try doing something like this for right now. Six, 7, 10. Too bad. Got a gold blocks, our gold ingots. Box of carrots. Random crap that we don't care too much about. Nice. So we got a full shulker box of food now. So if we pop over to our ender chest, we can go ahead and We'll dye this black as well for obsidian, and we'll dye these purple for elytras that are done. This box of random unenchanted elytras could just hang out there for right now. Let's go get some black and purple. Okay, no purple. Good start. Alright, let's get some red. And let's get some blue. That makes purple. Makes obsidian. And these enchanted books too, these are kind of special. These can come with me, stay in a different spot. Should also take some time to name these two at some point, but we will worry about that a little later. And we got some blue, and we got our enchanted books. Alright, nice. Hmm. With something this large, we should be able to fit, like, a potion room inside of one of these. Not one of these ones are small, but these ones over here on this side and the other side. Gonna do something like that for right now. I want there to be a nice cool potion room here. And we're gonna do something like that for right now, just so we can send the message that it's more about making a backing wall on these areas, okay, than it is about doing a lot of other things. So we're also going to want to cover up each of these. You know what we'll probably do, and I'll need a lot of glowstone or shroom lights for it. Probably use like a lighting block in between these layers to help block off the chest. Just because they actually provide like a good bit of backlight and they should have like a nice contrast against basically everything. So we will have that in all the different subsections, and then that means I can get rid of the torch lighting that isn't in these corners and all that. So that could be interesting. Like if I wanted to just barely squeeze right on in there. We don't have to use shroom lights, but you know, it does have to be something. That's annoying. There we go, got all those back. Yeah, we'll have to get a bunch of glowstone at some point and start lining all of this up. That's going to be one of those annoying things too, but I think it's going to be super worth it when it's done. And again, just having more lighting is good, but that'll let us open all the chests from all the different layers, provide all the extra lighting that we need from all this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's good stuff. Need to put dry bushes there at some point. Mm. We're gonna take this down too, finally. This isn't really necessary anymore. because we're going to be redoing this area a little bit better. And yeah, I mean, for something like this, just out of curiosity, looks out to here, so we could have some kind of window. Yeah, do a little something like that. So eventually when we build buildings back here, we can have a nice little way to look out. And same idea on the other side. And if we want to keep the same theming going here, then we're actually going to cut down this whole area. This is a weird shelf room that's not going to really be useful, so out it goes. Good start. Alright, let's go put all this away in the meantime. And ironworks. We're gonna leave that out because we're also gonna take that and go clear out the iron block part. The iron block farm, rather. So we'll get that cleared out at some point in the near future. And the rest of these are planks. So we need oak. Need a little bit of spruce. Need birch. And we need pale oak. There we go. Alright, cool. So that gets all that cleaned up. And I mean, otherwise, we got a nice view out the front here, which is always cool. We kept this pretty clear of a lot of redstone, which is nice too, so it's just a nice flat yard. And eventually when we build a bunch of houses and stuff, that'll look good over there too. And I'm trying to think. At some point, this stuff is going to be something else too. Let's go ahead and just take all of these out too. We'll just be consistent. There we go. Okay, it's almost 4:30. Oh, we need to go put this batch of stuff away too. Let's get that done. And we'll add in another window. So these little side ones I'm thinking are going to be more for like either really weird and fucked up storage that nobody cares about, or they're going to be for some kind of decorative thing. Like maybe I could have like a chunk of armor stands with like all my extra gear sets down like one of these side ones or something. Like if we have that blocked off, it can signify. That gives us a better idea of our space that we get to work with. Like so. It is covered on everything. Looks like it does. Cool. So with something like that, we have a lot more space that we get to work with now. Not more space, but we have a better idea of what it is we're trying to do. And it's basically we need to make the backing for all of these different chest rooms, and then we need to figure out some stuff with where we're going to put a couple things. So I'm thinking this one's a full enchantment area because it would be cool. That one's the full like brewing area that I want too, with like little side bits being for netherboard farming and stuff like that too. Just anything you can basically think of related, it should be there. And then the other two will be more decorative for like item frames and things like that, and stands. So, oh, right, not the one. Here we go. Okay. So we got a solid little plan for how we want to do this stuff. Execution's a whole different story with a lot of this kind of stuff, just because there's so much, but I at least have a rough idea of where I want to do a lot of this stuff and how I organize a lot of things. I would like to use more potions too, so that's kind of why I'm interested in at least having a potion room. I feel like they're not utilized very much. Nobody really builds potion rooms anymore too, because kind of don't really use potions too often in this game, which is a bit of a shame. Doing good on iron now, at least. That's good. And I thought about it a little bit too. So I thought about having like a separate flat room kind of above the storage room that's like 8 to 10 blocks tall. But honestly, we might just have this entire thing be fully storage. It's like, okay, we don't need to go past this for most things. Um, but maybe this will eventually get converted into like bulk storage, and then up above is where we have some more niche kind of weird things. But or maybe we could still have that floor idea just pushed up a couple of blocks and then figure out what we want to do up here. Because I don't know, I feel like there should be something extra up in a lot of this space, but it's hard to figure out what that can be right now. Especially because it overlooks the mob farm, so there's not a lot of space we could really cut out unless we block things up a certain special way. But who knows? I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up here for today. I mean, we got pretty much the whole forest deforested. We got a whole shulker box worth of food created, which is good. And we've got good plans for replanting all the saplings next time in a way that makes enough sense, you know. Plant less cherry trees, plant a couple of trees in fewer amounts, things like that. So, yeah, we will be working on getting that all done in the near future. We still need to build out that island too, and that smaller pond as well. Not that small one, and the big one with mycelium. So we'll do that next time too, I think. The move back there. But yeah, I think after 2 hours here, that is gonna do it for me today. I might stream later this week. I don't know. If I don't, it'll be on the weekend. With that being said, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see y'all again next time. Bye bye.